It's Wednesday, November 10th. I'm Adam Walsh, and this is CrossTalk. Here's a headline. Canadian travelers flock across the U.S. border. Here's another. Ringing off the hook. Travel agencies fielding surge in bookings. People are starting to travel again. But what's that like, and what should you know? We've got answers to those questions today. For this conversation, I wanted to talk to a travel agent. So we found a travel agent. Lois Barbour joins us on the line now. Lois, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
And so I've got David on the line. He's in Nova Scotia. Where are we reaching you?
I am actually in beautiful Turks and Caicos, staying at a beaches resort with my family on vacation this week.
So we've got a travel agent, owner of Travel Time TPI, Lois Barbour, on the line from Turks and Caicos. What was the trip down there like?
Actually, I have flown 4 times since last June, and I must say I feel like everything is getting more and more streamlined, back to somewhat similar to what we're used to. Of course, there's those requirements with the pre-travel testing and pre-arrival testing and screening and all of that. Just a few more hoops to get through, but essentially the travel feels just as good as ever.
Right. And for your industry, looking ahead for these, in terms of bookings and stuff, you're down there, so that's one booking. But how are things going for people who are thinking maybe a vacation because, and looking at those hoops and challenges that are in place now?
One thing for sure is that people like myself, professional travel advisors, have become much more valuable than people even realized we were in the past. We've always done valuable work for our clients, but now that all of these requirements are in place, and they change so often, that, having somebody who's got the finger on the pulse and watching all of that and is, able to decipher and give people the full details of what's needed for their trip is more valuable than ever.
All right, so do you want to just do a quick little breakdown? If me, Adam Walsh, is just like, hey, Lois, I'm planning a trip overseas. What do I need to know? What kinds of things do you tell people, or would you tell me?
Well, the requirements for the airlines from Canada right now is that they're going to be accepting fully vaccinated travelers only. And you have to look at the requirements for where you're going. So we were coming to Turks and Caicos. We needed to be vaccinated to enter the island. And we also needed to fill out a screening test, a screening program ahead of time so that we got what they call the travel authorization, which you can save it on your phone, but we always recommend traveling with it in print so that you can deliver it to the person who needs to look at it easily. And that all needs to be in place before you even can leave Canada to, go to a foreign country.
So with all of that, in terms of insurance and stuff, are there any recommendations around that, or any kind of possible hiccups that's on people's radars?
We always have recommended travel insurance for a very good reason. And one of the main ones is that none of our clients were out a dime after the pandemic hit and everybody had to be canceled if they had our travel insurance in place. Obviously, with all the news that we see, it wasn't the same for every traveler, but for the ones who took our advice on insurance, they were well taken care of. And going forward, that is even going to be better recognized, I think, and certainly more recommended. Since the level 4 advisory has been lifted, that means that the Allianz insurance that we offer is more inclusive and does cover more than what it does when the government has an advisory against travel in place totally.
And is there a risk? I mean, there is a risk still that if you're somewhere, you might end up having to quarantine possibly. What happens there when it comes to travel insurance? Does that stuff get covered or not?
There is a COVID insurance that covers some things, but obviously you have to look at the details, just like always, very closely. However, for us located at Travel Time, we have been recommending the resorts that are at the top of our list as far as the experience that they deliver and what they include. So, for instance, I'm staying this week at Beaches Turks and Caicos, which is the family brand of Sandals Resorts. And we have people traveling all over the Caribbean to different Sandals resorts. One of the automatic inclusions that those clients get is a covered COVID plan. So that covers if they should come down with COVID while they're traveling. It covers their medical costs and care. It also covers the quarantine plan. So should they test positive before the return flight and they have to quarantine for 14 days, that insurance covers the cost of that. So they just stay on the resort that they're at and wait for the 14 days and a negative test in order to continue on and return home. But having all that covered takes away that, I guess, anxiety that people may have about, what happens if I test positive? Where do I stay? Who pays for that? All of those kinds of things. Having that taken care of is the most seamless experience that we can offer for somebody who's really, really needing a vacation right now.
Oh, I feel that. Tell me, when I look at Christmas, the Christmas season, if I'm looking at the winter season for when sometimes people do obviously want to fly south or go somewhere, how are things looking in terms of bookings and stuff at this point?
Very interesting, because last year, obviously, all of our bookings were moving ahead to 2021. And then when we reached those dates in 2021, we had people moving ahead, not even looking just a few months in most cases, but moving a full year ahead. But since September, specifically out of Newfoundland, we've had people traveling south to Sandals Resort. And it varies across the country, because Newfoundland, we've been really in a bubble, and people are more reluctant and more conservative in their thought processes around travel. So it varies across the country. However, I'm on vacation this week, and I do have staff in my office that, the office is still open, and we're taking emails and calls from people looking for Christmas travel, which is very interesting. It's a short notice travel now, within a couple of months, a month or less. And Christmas travel is the most heavily booked all across the year for sure, and it's also the most expensive. So that for that reason, it's always advised to book that well in advance. But I guess people are just getting the confidence back and getting kind of desperate and realizing, what, I really need this vacation. And speaking to the manager here yesterday, this resort is at 84% occupancy, which means it's a large resort as well. So it means that there are tons of people who are okay with traveling right now and are enjoying vacation time.
Yeah, it's really interesting just to follow watching people and their comfort levels, and then where the pandemic is and how it's doing in different countries. My last kind of question for you, what's it like there today?
Well, this is radio, so I can't show you, but I can tell you that we just finished a lovely breakfast at Neptune's restaurant right by the beach, where we can see the palm trees and the ocean. And, I'm just, once I'm finished the call, I'll be heading out to my cabana where the butler will bring me lunch when I'm ready. And it's all about rest and relaxation. And, everything is pretty much outdoor spaces here. So, it's very, very comfortable. Even for somebody COVID cautious, it ticks the boxes for sure. We do recognize that people's comfort levels will return at different times. And as an agency, we're okay with that. We understand it. My background as a nurse gives me an insight on it that maybe others don't have. But when people are ready, we'll be ready. And we'll certainly serve people to the best of our ability to help them make those vacation memories once again.
Lois Barbour, soak it all in for me, please. I'm not going to be going anywhere anytime soon because of apparently I've got this show I have to host, so I'm stuck here for a bit. But
okay, I'll enjoy the sunshine for you here today. Not a problem.
Yes, please. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
No problem. Take care. Thank you.